culmination of 2 full semesters of competition have brought us to today. Live from Shenandoah University Esports Arena, the Shenandoah University Hornets gearing up to take on the University of Houston Downtown in round 2 of what is the ultimate competition under NECC. I mean, this is it, Kevin. I'm Chris Clayton. This is my lovely brother, Kevin, and we could not be more excited to bring you the ultimate form of competition of Smash Bros. Ultimate.
And with an ultimate lineup ahead of us, it is so exciting to see just how ready this team is to rock and roll into the competition. Ordinarily, playoffs can be a very shaky ground. Some teams take it very seriously. Other teams get very intimidated by the competition and bail out. So to see that Shenandoah's roster is bearing their fangs and ready to rock and roll, I am super excited to see how these matchups go.
Yeah, this team has certainly set a precedent for themselves over the last 2 years. This team consistently puts themselves in a
Well, hey, welcome back to the booth. Thanks for bearing with us through a little bit of technical issues. We seem to have got it figured out now, and hopefully you can hear me now better than you could in the past. We were just a little too excited to get in here as, like we said, hopefully you were able to hear before the break. It's a very exciting day here at the Shenandoah Esports Arena. We get to cover round 2 of the NECC National Tournament with Shenandoah University taking on the University of Houston Downtown. Round 2, UHD already going through one match to get here. Shenandoah with a bye brings these two teams against each other here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if we're going to be talking about adaptations all night, it makes sense that we need to adapt on the fly as well. All of that to be said, it's going to be interesting to see how Shenandoah deals with these sorts of characters that the opposing team has. But before we get too far into that, I do want to take a quick moment to acknowledge yes, the schedule for this week. We were in playoffs after all, and would you look at that, Chris? It's a 1-1 for Street Fighter. Yeah, baby.
I was surprised that you were taking us to the schedule, and now I know you were eager to to talk about yourself here, weren't you, Kev?
We got over a 50% win rate for the season, baby.
Attaboy. Congratulations, Kevin, finishing out his CFGC regular season on a positive note, splitting 1-1 yesterday, but like you said, ending with a over 500 win rate. That's an awesome thing and certainly something to be proud of. But that brings us to today, Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. Varsity Smash Bros. Taking on the University of Houston Downtown in NECC Nationals, as well as we will have Mossman concluding his Tekken regular season in CFGC on Wednesday. Another thing to keep in mind is that this NECC tournament is ongoing. Depending on the results of today, if SU is to walk out with a win, they will play again on Thursday. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be sure to remind you later in the stream again if SU comes out on top and earns the right to play on Thursday. But something to keep in mind if we get there.
Yeah, and another little fluky thing, keep in mind the scheduling for the Tekken side of things may also be a little bit out of whack because patch is dropping during live competition. So we may see a bit of a shakeup with that as well, but we will keep you posted on all of the scores. Of course, follow us on the socials to get more updates about that live, or be sure to tune into the streams because we'll cover it here too.
You're sounding more and more like me with every one of these shows. Taking my lines. No, you're killing it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. If anything happens with Tekken tomorrow, we'll let you know. We'll be sure to post it on our socials so you won't want to miss that. But as we are eager to hop into game here soon, we do have one of the players standing outside in the arena ready for an interview on this awesome opportunity to compete here in Nationals. We've got Ben out in the arena with Far Rhombus. Ben, take it away.
Thank you so much, Chris and Kevin. I am joined by Far Rhombus, the Jigglypuff player here on our Varsity Smash Bros team here at SU. First things first, how does it feel to be playing in NECC Nationals for the first time?
Oh, it feels great. Our team worked very hard in order to get here, and we're just really excited to play. I know that we've already had a lot of warm-up last week, getting into some things, but we're all just very excited to play right now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys should be. You've earned this spot. You guys are looking super, super strong thus far throughout the semester. Now, I want to talk about some of the matchups that we're going to see here today. Specifically, there's a Little Mac, a K. Rool, a Pokemon Trainer, and a Bowser on this roster that we are about to face. What do some of those matchups look like for yourself and the other members on the team?
Well, for me, I really like some of those characters. PT is kind of questionable, but for a lot of those characters, I think it works really well against Jigglypuff, but I know that Jigglypuff can die at 80%, so I just had to be really tricky with how those matchups play, because they have a little bit of weird tech, but I imagine for the rest of the team, they're having a great time, but we're not going to act like it's going to be like a very solidified win. We're going to go at this like these are the best players in the world, and we have to be ready for anything that possibly could happen. So,
yeah, and talking about kind of that roster as well, some characters that aren't people that we see a lot. What do you think about the PT matchup specifically?
For the PT matchups specifically, I think we're gonna probably send in a lot of other people that might. I mean, me personally, I'm not looking to fight them immediately, but I'm not like gonna be mauling by it either. I think for a lot of the other characters it specifically favors, but I don't even know if it's their best player or not, so we really just have to see going in that first game.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the interview. I believe we're going to toss it quickly right back to the casters, so we'll be right back.
Let's go, David!
Yeah! Let's go, David, indeed. Congratulations on making it this far. Good luck here tonight. Guys, back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Ben, Far Rhombus, and birthday boy Vic out there making an appearance on his day off from production. Happy birthday to him. Good stuff out of Far Rhombus, and we'll break down the matchup pretty soon here. It sounds like the players are pretty eager to get into game, so we're not going to hold them up. But the biggest thing, we've got Kip starting here tonight, which is not what I was told was going to happen from this SU squad, but going into a Lucario, which is not one of the four players that we saw, or one of the four characters we saw in UHD's first round match.
I can't tell how I feel about this, Chris, because it feels like a return to form in so many ways. Shenandoah is so used to sending Kip in to start things off, but something we have learned in the last 3 weeks or so is that Pac-Man struggles to kill, and if there's one character that you need to be taken out early, it's Lucario. The aura is already starting to build as we see the blue on his fists glow hotter and hotter, but Kip is finding great hits and is able to connect the bell into the side B. The percentage is picking up, but it won't matter in the long run as Kip is rocking and rolling.
What a start here. This is the Shenandoah roster's first matchup of this tournament, right? This is NECC Nationals, as you can see. This is a huge deal, and this team's certainly showing that they have no nerves here, nothing to be afraid of. Kip absolutely laying down the law so far, only taking 35% while racking up 88 on this Lucario. Second stock, a heck of a call out there, and almost catching the up smash, but Heartbreak getting away from it. Worth mentioning, Heartbreak was the Lucario player that we saw, or the Little Mac player. Good catch, Kev. The Little Mac player we saw in their last series, so we will not likely be seeing a Little Mac in this series.
And that's kind of a shame. I like seeing my Little Macs, but Chris, you know what else I like to see? Look at the movement on this Lucario. He's going for Aura Sphere setups. I don't see that too often nowadays. I'm liking what I'm seeing. He's going for shield game, shield poking with the neutral B and trying to use it to get Kip caught in shield. But for now, Kip's doing a real good job of dancing around it. Lucario's aura should be at max, being a stock down. I think 150 is ordinarily the max, but because of the stock difference, it should change. As we do see Lucario taking the pace a little slower, just going for a lot of Aura Sphere. Platform one after the other. Again, trying to find that side B, but Kip doing a good job of dashing around those options.
Yeah, I would definitely say that aura is maxed out. You don't often see that sphere get that big, but no matter what. Oh, wow. Yep, that's the value of the aura, catching a 2-frame on the ledge because that sphere is so large. Wow, Kip gets caught off guard by that one. Certainly we did too. And like you said, this is not where you want to see a Lucario get to, right? 162% with full aura value. This is where this character thrives. And Pac-Man certainly seems to be struggling to take that stock again.
Yeah, and this is the awkward bit, Chris. I think that Pac-Man could go down around like 60% on a good hit. So for Kip to find the close opportunity on that stock is a big plus for Shenandoah as Lucario's aura is reset. Kip sitting at 48, but does have the stock lead.
Yeah, that's a big deal for Kip, as now he gets to breathe a little bit. Those aura spheres become a lot less intimidating when you're able to take a stock like that. So Kip finding a good little forward air string there, lands right in the Lucario forward smash, but good little side B reversal there and a sour spot forward smash. Lucario with a phenomenal recovery can make it back from that distance. And now we return back to neutral stage with an increasingly more dangerous Lucario once again.
Yeah, we're at about 70 or so. The aura's going to start looking big. The aura spheres are going to be even bigger. But with all that being said, Chris, keep an eye on how Kip dances around landing Lucario, as that will be a big factor going forward. The aura will start maxing out here soon, and one more good aura sphere might be enough as he holds it on the ledge, calls out what could have been either a neutral get up or a jump. Either way, that buildup is going to do a lot, but now that the stock's reset, the aura will go down just a little bit.
Yeah, how about it? Heartbreak with a heck of a statement here against Shenandoah. SU coming into this tournament as the 13 seed, and UHD coming in with a major upset in round one. UHD, the 45 seed, coming into tonight. A massive moment here for Heartbreak on this Lucario, going even so far against Kip. But we'll see now, 100% separating these two players, and Kip likely one good apple or back air away from securing this stock. A back throw will not be enough to do it, but the bells are coming out, and Kip's certainly looking to close this one out soon.
Yeah, there's Lucario trying to dash in and avoid that bell. Keep an eye on that going forward, because that may be Kip's best opportunity to try and close out the stock, is another setup like that, but he needs the bell first. Instead, baiting out the option, saying, I don't need no bell, catch this apple, and it will do enough for Kip to walk away with the stock lead.
Yeah, we see Kip walking it out, like you said, splitting that 2-3 in favor of Kip, but I have to say, he looks a little rattled, and I understand why. This is a character that we don't see much, especially around here. I mean, we just hosted our Gamer Bash, one of our locals here in the arena, and we got to see a little bit of Lucario gameplay, but even under that, it was a secondary pick from Chiliad Emerald, I believe. So, yeah, not a character we see very often, especially in competitive at high levels like this, but Heartbreak on that Lucario looking pretty dangerous.
It felt like such a... I could be wrong. Kip may like that matchup, but I feel like there are so many factors working against Kip, because every time we see Pac-Man, it's build a lot of percent and then find your bell. Like, that's a solid 70 to 80% of the game plan. And so that means, hey, I'm going to build up percent on Lucario, and then I gotta take like an extra couple of seconds, charge this bell, when suddenly there are aura spheres the size of Pac-Man himself flying across the stage. Lucario just blinking from one spot to the other with an active hitbox. And the side specials, oh man, it was good on Kip to get around those neutral special shield opportunities, because otherwise he could have been in a disastrous spot.
Absolutely. Kip coming out on top in the end, so a strong start from SU, undeniably. And now we did rush into this game a little bit after the interview. We didn't get to really settle in and take a look at this matchup, so now while we have the downtime, we can take a look at these two squads. The SU squad will look the same as what we are used to, as we just saw. Kip, the starter for SU, certainly a return to form, whereas we've been seeing Igloo start recently quite a bit. But now Kip, Igloo, Farrombus, and Willie, the 4 contenders for SU tonight. And on the opposite side of the line, we've got a Little Mac, what we thought to be a Little Mac in their last series, a K-Rool, a Pokemon Trainer, and a Bowser. So we heard Farrombus talk a little bit about that in the interview. We now know that Little Mac is a Lucario and is now knocked out, but those are presumably the 3 players left, K-Rool, Pokemon Trainer, and Bowser.
Yeah, lots 2 big bodies, 1 Little Mac, and Pokemon Trainer. That's a very unique lineup. There's not a lot of projectile game in that. There's, I guess, mainly K-Rool. You can try to slow down the pace, but K-Rool's projectiles are a little slow, Chris. It feels like they have pretty big wind-up on them. So to kind of utilize that as a range character in this crew battle, I'm wondering who's going to have to deal with this Pac-Man going forward. Maybe that's why they called out Shenandoah with a Lucario pick to start.
Yeah, it definitely could be. I think you might be onto something. That does make a lot of sense. But now that Lucario has been knocked out and Kip's still with 1 stock, yeah, you are in dangerous territory of losing more before taking Kip's last. Now, we can talk a little bit as well about the structure of this tournament. SU with a first-round bye. This is round 2, but SU's first series in this tournament as they awaited the winner of UHD here and Southern New Hampshire University. Southern New Hampshire goes down in statistically a pretty large upset, UHD being the 45 seed, Southern New Hampshire being somewhere in the 20s. So, yeah, UHD coming off a massive win, certainly has a lot of momentum coming into this, and I think we saw some of that in the Lucario pick.
Oh, yeah. It felt like the moment out the gates, that Lucario took a lot of damage, but that's exactly, again, what he wanted. And then he was playing all momentum, just trying to almost brute force his way into Kip's face. And in some instances, it worked. It may not have connected with the B-reverse Aura Spheres, but Kip was going down at some early percentages to those Aura Spheres off stage. So now, it does look like we're going to be hopping into game here in a minute, and we do see the counter pick opportunity for the opposing side, UHD, going for that Pokemon Trainer.
Yeah, big decision here out of UHD, pulling certainly their highest tier character on their roster, at least on paper, what seems to be the biggest threat to go on a run in a crew battle style format. Gooeyest the response for UHD here. The Gators looking to make a comeback here and not let Kip get too hot, but this is not how you like to start.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this works. If this Pokemon Trainer can do a good job of not losing more than 1 stock, that would be a great position for them overall in the grander scheme of things. But I'm almost a little surprised we didn't see potentially the Bowser pick. I categorize Bowser in the same sort of guarantees as dealing with Kazuya. Every now and then, you will get a Kazuya combo off, or say, Lucario, you will have an opportunity for your high level of aura. Bowser's just so heavy, you'll get opportunities to take stocks early, but this time around, it looks like they're trying to take it all and maybe not lose a stock in the process. Even so, Gooey is eating a lot of damage, and Kip is ready to try and punish, but the side special won't connect in that spot, as Pokemon Trainer's eating 130, while Kip is sitting at a crisp 25.
Yeah, UHD certainly looking to not lose a stock here, but dangerously close to losing one. We talk a lot about trading 1 for 1. Can't complain about it too much, but under circumstances like these, with a roster like the one that UHD has, I can't help but feel a little nervous for the characters remaining in reserves for this UHD roster. But we'll get there when we get there. Bell's coming out, a well-timed air dodge. Will survive the first attempt, but not the second. Kip goes up and finishes with a back air, and now, again, this is what you have to be afraid of playing into this Pac-Man.
So as we see the Galaga combo connect, the the Squirtle eating 53 despite being a really small character. It just speaks to the power of the Galaga combos. So, Ivysaur going for a couple of aerials, able to get a little bit more damage rolling, but Kip has to find an opportunity back on stage and is going to survive a little bit more as another Galaga combo connects, goes for the bell, goes for a side special, and Ivysaur does an air dodge, but it doesn't KO.
Yeah, that surprises me for sure. Gooeyest definitely was watching film, watched that first matchup and was ready for the side B the first time, was able to air dodge it, but that time gets hit by it, gets kill sparked, but is able to DI and still survive. Certainly surprised me, but Gooeyest holding on to this stock, just trying to wipe away the damage that's already been done. Kip still also close to losing his, goes for a down smash but doesn't get the read. Neutral get up, able to avoid that one. Now Gooeyest setting up to try to two-frame. Kip recovers a little too high, but he will survive the throw and have another opportunity at the ledge.
Oh, Chris, if this player does not get this stock right here, okay. I am positive Charizard up throw would have KO'd there instead of that forward throw. So the fact that they went for that option, it didn't KO, Kip could have walked away with a robbery.
Yeah, absolutely. But UHD gets away with one there, able to recover and still take care of business. The up smash scooping all the way from the ledge and taking care of Kip's last stock. Dangerously close to letting Kip walk away with 5. Not at all the secret to success against SU, but certainly can't be disappointed if you're Kip.
Right. I mean, it's a one-for-one trade, and we talk about that a lot here, is if you need to lose one stock, get that guaranteed value. When you're behind, you will need to find an opportunity to make up ground. If it's not against this opponent, you'll have another chance. It just depends on who Shenandoah sends in next. Most likely, in these sorts of situations, someone will counterpick you. So, it won't always work out in your favor, but sometimes you can sneak some tricks in or some really nice mechanics to really find momentum and get it back into your favor.
Yeah, if you're the Hornets here, I think there's a pretty obvious decision, and it has to be Igloo, right? We heard in the pregame interview that Jigglypuff actually has good, or at least playable matchups here tonight for the first time in a while, right? We've seen Faramus get put through the ringer by no fault of his own. Like, we've seen nightmare matchup after nightmare matchup, and finally we see an opportunity, or it seems like we'll have an opportunity to see Jigglypuff find value in these crew battles. But the one character that we said we wanted to avoid the Jigglypuff matchup was Pokemon Trainer. And I have to imagine that SU is trying to keep Willie as a late-game threat, an anchor in this type of setting. So, in my opinion, I think you have to put in Igloo here. And we have just now seen that Igloo is the next player to go in for Shenandoah. But something I did not factor is that it looks like he's going to go in on Samus.
Yeah, so the Samus pick instead of the Yoshi. I think I see the vision, not only because Pokemon Trainer is so good at just racking up percentage pretty quickly. Swapping from Squirtle to Ivysaur is a night and day difference from Pyramithra, where Pyra's looking for the KO. Ivysaur just has good damage, like has good projectile game, has big hitboxes, and will just keep building percentage. So if I'm Yoshi, I don't want to deal with that. I want to get close to that giant, like, sprout on Ivysaur's back just exploding over and over. Why not go for a little bit more of that projectile game and try to knock this out? So if it does go for like a 2-3 sort of trade, that means that the two characters left, I mean, I don't even know how they deal with the Samus.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems bleak if Samus is to come out on top here, considering that the two options left, at least according to the scouting we have done so far, are a King K. Rool and a Bowser. So, I don't know, a little intimidating, but we see players taking a moment to maybe let the internet settle in is what I assume happened there. But either way, we settle in here and the game has started. Igloo already finding 50% to start this off.
Yeah, so Gooeyest has to take a step back here. Is definitely going to want the combo off of Squirtle's grab to start things off, maybe the down tilts as well. One good Squirtle combo should be enough for them to swap over to Ivysaur, but with the percent building up like this, they may have to swap a little bit earlier.
Yeah, now up to 100% and still staying on Squirtle. maybe just trying to find some serious percentage of their own, but going to have to keep avoiding charge shots like that, because that would be dangerously close to taking a stock almost certainly. Samus able to zare back to the ledge, a factor of this character that is a pivotal part of their gameplay, as finally we do see the swap to Ivysaur out of Gooeyest here. Again, with only 2 stocks to work with, looking to claw back against Igloo here. Wow. But wow, just straight up kills from center stage. Igloo with a heck of a start to this after a big combo.
Oh, Chris, I thought Charizard was dead.
Gooeyest stuck on Charizard here to start and not able to change just yet.
Yeah, it looks like he's committing to it, Chris. It looks like Gooeyest is really wanting just a couple of good hits in. But when you're playing a big body like this, it's going to be difficult to get around these projectiles, especially in this horizontal game. So Gooeyest taking a step back, trying to bait Igloo into the main stage.
Wow.
Will be able to get a good advantage off of it, and that back air connects in just the right spot to secure the stock.
Yeah, that surprises me. I definitely would have thought Gooeyest was trying to switch, but they had plenty of opportunities to swap off. Charizard opted not to and get their value from it. A dash attack into a back air perfectly placed will take Igloo's first stock, so we keep this at a 1 stock difference between these two teams. Igloo going for an up B to try to secure at least good damage onto this Charizard. I can't imagine that would kill at 100, but Gooeyest looking to, again, just chip away at this lead and doing a good job of controlling space here so far by the ledge.
Yeah, look at the spacing, Chris. This Charizard is kind of a menace because we're seeing really good spacing game, a lot of good grabs connecting. It's building a percent. These forward tilts or these back airs might be able to KO, and Igloo may lose another stock here in a second.
Yeah, now Igloo, oh wow, can't make it back to the ledge there. I missed that one. Not sure if he got his jump eaten, but Igloo now dropping to his last stock, and the overall stock count now tied between these two teams. A nice back air there comes out for Igloo. Again, just now trying to defend the ledge. Charizard does make it back and is able to roll onto the ledge and get an up smash out of their shield. So Igloo's just struggling to close this stock out, and now you have to imagine Gooeyest will never change off Charizard here, try to survive for as long as possible to survive charge shots like that.
Ooh, going for the Flare Blitz, doesn't have the double jump. I think they thought they had it and were gonna wait to use the up B, but even so, the Charizard kind of, again, just another mix-up for Shenandoah, where we thought things might go a little bit more aggressive. But even so, I'm very impressed, because that matchup cannot be easy for the Pokemon trainer, especially when you're sitting on Charizard. Like that.
Probably not. I would certainly agree, but now SU does find themselves, again, in a statistical advantage, but I have to imagine a little uncomfortable with how things have gone so far. But again, there is, in my opinion, a glaring thing now still left in front of us, and it's that 6 of these stocks, if our research is correct, are big, heavyweight options that are going to struggle into a Jigglypuff and a Samus and a Kazuya. So while this hasn't exactly gone how SU drew up, I imagine, you have to think that the grass is still somehow greener ahead of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I still view Bowser as the kind of character who, unless in like a really bad matchup, I'm talking like the Kazuya clip that we saw where he gets grabbed once and then he just explodes. Unless it's that, you cannot get past Bowser without losing something. It's just a lot of side Bs, a lot of up Bs. It's very hard to deal with a Bowser game plan and not and walk away unscathed. So I do think there is that level of guarantee. The K. Rool part, I'm a little shaky on. I love the character. I mean, let's make this clear. I like my crocodile. And frankly, you know, they're gators, Chris. That's the mascot. Like, it comes full circle.
It's true. Yeah,
like,
you are correct.
That's a power-up or something.
Yeah, and SU has some history with this school as well. Worth mentioning that our competition coordinator, Fernando, took his first undergrad courses of his life at the University of Houston downtown. So little bit at stake here, if not outside the Smash team, but certainly integrated into this SU culture, SU structure, SU hierarchy. There is a mark of University of Houston downtown. So, yeah, beyond just them being Gators, there's a lot. There's a lot outside the game that is factoring in here tonight.
The mind games, Chris. It's just one level after another.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm happy, though, to see that Shenandoah, despite being put in these kind of weird sort of situations, they're still finding ways to close out the matches. Like, starting things off with that Kip matchup, again, that Lucario played phenomenally, but I think a lot of it is coming down to not necessarily the matchup as it is the player knowledge. The reason why that Charizard was able to secure a stock, like, out of the blue, Igloo sitting at, like, 45, was off of pure just mind game between the two players. Charizard sitting back on the platform, trying to bait out, oh, maybe I'll switch to Squirtle now, or I'll try to get around the Samus game plan. And Igloo takes one step too far forward, only to meet a dragon face-to-face and get hit, thrown, and get caught landing, going for the ledge by a beefy back air. That's not so much a matchup thing as it is truly just a pure player instinct taking advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah, getting caught off guard under the circumstances. And so far, again, SU with a statistical advantage, up one stock, and certainly not in a bad position at all. But you're right. I mean, there's plenty to be happy about if you are UHD as well. I mean, there's to split with SU, a team that got a bid to this tournament by winning their region in the fall semester, came in third place in their spring semester, certainly has a lot of momentum, right? This team that has established a standard of success throughout the last, I would say, 2 years, and taking them so far all the way up to their necks in how much Smash they can handle. Certainly can't be disappointed with that. And coming off a massive win in their first round matchup and a best of one over a team seeded higher than them, this team has a lot of momentum as well. And so far, they're going toe to toe with Shenandoah.
Yeah, Shenandoah on top of that had a little moment. They may not have gotten the win against Winthrop, but talking with the team afterwards, they were kind of shocked how they matched up against them. They were not expecting to do nearly as well as they did. Obviously, you know, Chris and I, we gush about these players all the time. We knew they were going to do great. But that speaks to a level of new understanding for the players. When matched up against top-level talent, that is one of the best opportunities to really scale yourself accordingly in the grander scene of things. And I imagine that gave them a pretty hearty morale boost, even if they did not walk away with the series.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so. And Winthrop also in this tournament, seated at number 2 overall. And I believe on the opposite side of the bracket from SU. I'd have to think about that, and I might be able to come back to it. But Winthrop coming in at the 2 seed under Fisher being the 1 seed. So that's what SU, or the winner of this series and many more series, has to look forward to. But as we get our response and load back into our next matchup here of round 2, UHD sending in Chupasaur, is I assume how you pronounce that, on King K. Rool.
Yeah, so this matchup can be very difficult. Once K. Rool is back at the ledge, it's going to be very hard to get off of it if Igloo has the time to set up those down Bs, getting a couple of mines in place. We do see K. Rool going for the dash attack, a very laggy move, and Igloo was trying to go for a maximum punish, but that up air didn't connect in the spot that Igloo wanted, and because of that, we will see Chupasaurus walk away.
Yeah, definitely a play style here out of Igloo here, just running to the opposite side of the stage and putting projectiles out. That is the Samus standard for sure, but a little bit more success so far than we saw against Pokemon Trainer.
Man, that K. Rool was trying to end Igloo. I don't know if you saw that. That back air connected in the right spot, Chris, but Igloo still had invincibility left as K. Rool holds on to the blunderbuss a little long and air dodges while so close to the blast zone. which means that he will go down a little bit earlier than he might have if he just held in.
Yeah, tough break there out of Chupasaur, and something that I'm sure we have all done in our time as Smash Bros. Players. A little drag down up air there out of Igloo, looking to string that into some more, but ultimately a Chupasaur just falls out of it. He's a fully charged neutral B, though. That's going to hurt, as now Igloo takes a down air into a charged up smash and somehow survives, frankly. And now up to 120%, as it's going to take near flawless play out of Igloo to survive this one.
Wow, that connected.
Yeah.
K. Rool's hitbox looking a little funky there, but look at how Igloo is struggling to get a game plan going as he's thrown into the dirt one more time and will eat the up tilt ever so strong. But a 1-for-1 between the players, a repeat of what we saw before. And who's entering the hot seat, Chris, but Farombus, who's going to be looking to take advantage of these Puff matchups.
Yeah, no surprise here to me, opting to keep Willie in the anchor position, right? Opting to save one of the most dangerous players in this region to go in and potentially clutch up if needed, right? You certainly love to have that name in that spot. And yeah, you said it, getting warm, getting ready for whatever could lay ahead if Farombus gets knocked out here. Farombus with 5 stocks ahead of him. You have to think he's going to play the Jigglypuff against this King K. Rool.
Yeah, it's very possible that in these sorts of matchups, I'm not going to, I don't want to say anything too crazy. You go in expecting the 3 stocks, but I do think Farombus feels pretty confident and may be able to close out the K. Rool and get a lot off of the Bowser. But also, I mean, talking matchups here, Chris, the last time we saw Willie go up against Bowser, it was disastrous. I'm going to warn the people at home, you might need to turn down the volume a little bit when that matchup comes up, because I will be losing my mind.
Yeah, there is a clip floating around somewhere of the last time this happened. Willie had 1 stock to work with and genuinely evaporated a Bowser through 2 of his stocks before ultimately going down against. And I think it was just like a misplay, a misinput out of Willie. Like it was Willie that lost that stock, not the Bowser that got it. So yeah, it's based off sheer experience from our spot on the desk, from this team's competitive history. We know that Willie can and likely will succeed into a Bowser. So something to keep in mind, right, the longer this goes on, but we're not there yet. The biggest storyline so far is that, again, through everything we've seen, UHD still hanging within 1 stock of SU.
Yeah, it's playing very stock standard. I mean, Kip, the kind of player who can really run away with games, took 4 stocks, and Igloo took 3. That's what you ask of these players, and that speaks to the level of competition. We're talking big-time nationals, Chris. These are the best of the best. They are all gunning for it, which means that the skill level is all starting to even out, and that's where you start to see the little intricacies of it all.
Absolutely, yeah. All of these teams earned their right to be in this tournament, right? This is not some open bracket that any one of us could just meander into, right? These teams had to prove themselves over the last 2 semesters and earn these spots. So while we say that these teams are at large seeding differences between each other skill-wise, yeah, there's plenty of talent in the pool, and UHD putting that on display. Like we said, 1 stock separating these 2 teams, but now Farombus, the response for SU, and looking to go into Chupasaur all the way to the blast zone. Farombus untouched and shows why this character can be so dangerous into these heavyweights.
Yeah, we're talking big bodies, Chris, and they cannot get past the little puffball as we see a couple of good aerials connect. K. Rool going for the blunderbuss as Farombus was looking for the falling up air early on as we see the pound connect. 1 forward air into the nair, going for K. Rool as K. Rool is forced to throw the crown, has to use the up B to recover, does find an opportunity back, but is crownless as he goes back towards the stage.
Yeah, what a read, too, to start this off. I mean, Farombus not even in-game in his first matchup for all of 30 seconds before making a call-out like that, catching the counter and responding by taking a full untouched stock. And now King K. Rool gets caught with their blunderbuss facing the wrong way. A dash attack into a forward air finishes the job, and Faramis absolutely smoking hot right now with so much momentum building a 2-stock, 3-stock advantage for SU.
It seems like the Smash players are wondering where those stocks went, Chris.
What happened?
And I can tell you, K. Rool facing the wrong way had the counter the first time around where he was facing the right way, got called out. Second time around, blunderbusses the wrong way, gets knocked back, still can't counter. You can't hit, or you can't counter moves as K. Rool unless it hits you in the gut. And so, Rhombus says, all right, I'll follow you all the way to the blast zone.
Yeah, great stuff, and what a response. I mean, we said that this is the first time in a while that we feel like Jigglypuff is playable against one of these teams that SU has matched up against late in the season, and Rhombus, explaining that that's exactly true. We can go and play like this. King K. Rool does not have a bad recovery. Taking a character that far off stage usually is what we see against, the Little Max and the Bowsers of the world, right? But King K. Rool can make it back from those situations. It's going to take a read like he had into the counter, and Rhombus comes up with it.
Yeah, so with all that being said, Rhombus still sitting 3 stocks in hand, most likely going into the King of the Koopas. Bowser should make an appearance if our data is correct. If it's not, maybe this player has some sort of backup option, because I can't imagine you're very confident sending in the heaviest character in the game against Jigs.
Yeah, it's tough. This research, I believe, is based off who they played in their first round match as well. So this is not only the results that we've seen from their players, which admittedly there was not much that we were able to see, but based strictly off their first round matchup, the characters that they played were the characters we listed earlier, and the character that Raider Knuckle played in their first matchup was a Bowser. And as we load into our potentially last matchup of this first set here, we have our answer. Raiden Knuckle, excuse me. Oh no! Gets their shield broken to start. Can Rhombus get a stock off this? Wow. Gave up? Question mark?
I don't think Raiden Knuckle was ready for the down smash. I think he saw that Rhombus was pushing, maybe looking for a forward smash, maybe a rest setup, but instead caught super off guard. Gets hit by a down smash that sends at a bad angle and doesn't find an opportunity to recover, as Rhombus is sitting very pretty, finding a 0 to death to start things off.
And did you see that? And Rhombus goes for a jab reset into a sing. He's certainly looking for all of the flashy plays so far. There's a lot of shields still coming out here from Raiden Knuckle, as Rhombus does still have that pound, but again, you get Bowser in a position like that, and Jigglypuff will come out with a stock almost every time.
Chris, it is nighttime in the world of Animal Crossing, as Rhombus will find a couple of good hits, and it may end with Jigglypuff getting some Z's with the City Folk as the pound connects one forward air into the down air. But there's that side B, Chris. There's that value that we expect so often. But I just noticed that Bowser's tag is SD King after the first stop.
Yeah.
That is very funny. But even so, a good call out on the double jump. Bowser has to go high. Raiden Knuckle looking for those last couple of hits. A forward air will connect. It will be enough to close the stock, but Rhombus sitting pretty at 2.
Yeah, it's only Rhombus's first. What feels like this Jigglypuff that's been in for so long now, it really hasn't, and has only now lost 1 stock. Another pound lands, but Raiden Knuckle able to get away with his life for now. 115%, and Rhombus again looking for it all. The jab reset goes a little wide, and now Raiden Knuckle in an advantageous position. Another shield comes out. Got to be careful with that, but gets off stage and avoids the nair, so we make our way back to the main stage.
Yeah, Rhombus now trying to dance around the Bowser game plan as we see forward airs flying from this Bowser, looking for a couple of grabs as well to potentially close out another stock. He's going to need a lot to try and bring the series back. The up special connects, will get a little bit of value. Farambis able to find a back air, but it won't connect. As a couple more back airs get thrown out, a very laggy forward tilt from Bowser will be punished, but even so, both players are sitting at high percents.
Yeah, what a change of pace here out of Ride Knuckle as well. This has been the tale of two halves so far. Farambis struggling to close this one out. Has had a couple opportunities to follow Ride Knuckle off stage, and we'll get another one here. Opts to not go for it. Is going to go for it this time with a stock to give. The up B. Oh, Ride Knuckle had the jump. Still able to make it back. Now 170% on the Koopa King. Parries an up smash. The up B out of the shield will not find the stock just yet. So Farambis floats his way right back and finds a back air, and that will do it. SU takes set number 1 in what turned out to be pretty commanding fashion. Farambis showing off there against UHD. SU pulling ahead, and now it is the Gators that are going to have to find an answer, and quick.
I mean, between a pink puffball and an immaculate jawline from what we were seeing there, I mean, it is good to see that Farambis is feeling good after a performance like that, Chris. I mean, that is so difficult to do, to go in there and find your opportunity to really fit your niche. It's a lot of pressure, especially in these sorts of situations. So for Farambis to finally have this opportunity where it's like all gas, no brakes, and do just that, I'm very happy for Farambis.
Absolutely, yeah. Massive opportunity for Farambis today, and he has not let it go past him as he walks away with 5 stocks. The most stocks of any SU player in set 1 out of 3 SU players. We saw Willie warming up in case he needed to go in. I said he might not to, and here he might not need to, and here we are. Farambis takes care of business and looks great while doing it, and that brings us to set number 2, where UHD, again, this is a single elimination tournament. While UHD did win their first series, this is it now. Down 1 set against SU, the 13-seeded Shenandoah University. UHD running out of room for error here.
Right. We're talking a lot of very important decisions need to be made right here, right now. You usually don't expect to see that the winning side changes their characters, but these might be the opportunities where you need to take those hard call-outs because of the single elimination lifestyle of this tournament. You don't have many opportunities to mess around with all of that. I'm hoping that we get to see a good adaptation from both sides. If Shenandoah sends in the Pac-Man first, I'm hoping that the opposing side, UHD, is feeling like they should send in the Lucario again because the stock count was so close. It was just that end. Now they know the problem, and it's Jigglypuff.
Absolutely, yeah. And now, yeah, I think if you're Houston downtown, you have to be thinking, all right, we know what the nightmare matchups are, and it's Jigglypuff into either one of those heavies. So that is now the thing that you need to avoid, like the plague, right? Like it killed your grandma. This is the type of thing that you cannot afford to see again. So does that mean you send them out first, thinking that SU might not? Because SU has established this brand around sending Kip in first, and under weird circumstances they swap to Igloo instead. Like, it's rarely ever Farambis first, so maybe you try to steal value up front.
And that very well could be. With all of that being said, I'm seeing a little bit of information here, Chris. I'm not gonna acknowledge it just yet. I think
he knows I'm casting. He's doing it for me, I guarantee. I can hear them out in the arena too. I know he did that because he knows we're watching. Again, we're not gonna.
I don't think we should say anything yet.
Yeah, move on from this for now.
I don't know where blind picks are right now. So
yeah, we'll come back to that in a minute. But I think the players are teasing me because there's a character that I really like, and and Kip technically has it as a secondary, but I would be shocked to see that come out right now, and especially given that this first set was as close as it was for as long as it was close. Again, ultimately, SU comes out with 5 stocks left. That doesn't look very close, but Kip ultimately only walking out with 4, where we've become so accustomed to seeing him go on these crazy runs. I would be shocked to see this player swap off their patented Pac-Man.
Yeah, with all that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the matchup that we just saw, Chris. Something I noticed. When I say that Bowser gets guaranteed value, it's because he plays off of 50-50s a lot. A great up B out of shield punishes a lot of very poor approaches out of opponents. But more specifically, if you do it right, even so, you might either get up B'd, in which case you need to hold shield, or you may get side B'd, which means that you shouldn't be in shield.
Yeah.
Like, that's the 50-50. But that Bowser didn't go for many side Bs. He went for 1, Jigglypuff lived, and then he ditched the move. That's... No. If you don't think that the move was going to kill at that point, I understand. If you're a little frustrated by it, I understand that too. I've been there. But you need to go for that move. That move gets you so much value.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We saw the side B come out once, and remind me, it's more controlled by whoever's at a lower percent.
Correct.
Between the Bowser and the opponent.
Yes.
Because when it happened, Jigglypuff was upwards of 100%, and Bowser was at 20 or 30. But it was enough that Farambus was able to avoid the platform. It went just slightly wide, landed on the main stage, and then Farambus didn't die off the top. So, yeah, maybe that was just a mental aspect of how in the world does that not kill in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the lightest characters in the game. And on top of that, I saw a really cool graphic recently about Bowser side B specifically. Landing on a platform makes about like a 10% difference between when it KOs opponents and when it doesn't. We saw how far Jigglypuff was going.
Yeah.
Like, Jigglypuff was in that blast zone.
Right.
But 10% difference. You know what could have gotten
Would have made the difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think that is a big thing. Hopefully the Gators are taking the time to, look back at it, try to see what sort of things they might need to change. Because I think that matchup could have gone with at least another stock falling into the Gators' hands. But Farambus did a really good job of dancing around that option once he started to pick up that, hey, wait a second, he's not going for the move that will actually KO me.
Yeah, and another thing to consider if you are the University of Houston downtown is that while we sit up here and know what SU tends to do and what their players tend to play and all that, there is a fourth player that UHD was not able to get to. And whether they are watching the show or have done their homework, we're able to look into the Shenandoah NECC roster. One way or another, there's somebody that you haven't seen yet today. No matter how much information you think you have on them, we talk about this all the time. And it's not like I'm sitting here like hyping up Willie specifically. Like, this is just a crew battle factor. There's a player that you have not played against yet through one set, and that's a problem because that we know and believe to be a massive problem for the characters on this UHD squad. So certainly another thing to keep in mind, as I'm sure they're already trying to avoid the Jigglypuff matchups, you have to keep in mind this sort of dark figure in the distance that they haven't seen yet.
Yeah, crew battles are an information-based game. The more you can see of your opponent, the better off you are at turning the tables, whether the matchup is good or bad. You can play to your opponent's habits and use those weaknesses as your own strengths. It is a very powerful tool. So to not see all the characters, not see all the players, can really throw a wrench in your plans as suddenly you are going into the dark. And I mean, frankly, I'll spoil it. There's a scary demon man or a man who uses those flames to his advantage. Like, that's... Ooh.
Yeah, a little bit. Two characters that can thrive into heavyweights and many other characters, as we have seen him do. Now, I am looking ahead a little bit, and I see on our TV here that it looks like the first player for UHD will be Heartbreak again on the Lucario. I'm assuming that's confirmed. I'm getting a nod from our observer. So I'm curious. Right, that's a decision, and one that I can't fault because it did go pretty well the first time. But what are you thinking about that?
To me, if it is Shenandoah, I do believe we have gone through blind picks. Both players entered the arena, showed their characters, and then backed out, so now they're doing stage bans. Kip is going to be entering first on the signature Pac-Man, so we're seeing a repeat of last time. I think the biggest thing was that Kip was finding opportunities to get around the Aura Sphere setups. Those setups are nice. They are flashy, they're great, you can take stocks incredibly early, but if your opponent knows how to dash around them, you need to play to that. How do you do that? You need to play a better aerial game. You need to cancel your Aura Sphere as you're going down, and then you double jump and use Nair. Basically catch Pac-Man trying to run away. Lucario's floaty. That character can jump and stay in the air and match that sort of momentum. So to deal with that, it's going to be a lot of fainting out the Pac-Man's responses. At the same time, holding on to your stocks. We saw the value that Lucario got sitting at 150.
Absolutely. They were at their most threatening when they were at high percentages. And if you're playing Lucario, that's all you can ask for. That is the game plan, is to find your value when you are about to go down. So as we load into set number 2 here, round 2 of NECC Nationals, SU with a commanding start to their first series of the tournament, and UHD looking to bounce back with no changes to the game plan just yet.
Yeah, as we do see a bit of a repeat of last time, Chris. We saw that Kip got a ton of percent early on, and then Lucario returned it in stride, but Kip was able to find a bell pretty early in the first stock to try and even things out, and it's looking like it's playing that exact same way as the bell is online and Lucario is sitting back looking for those Aura Spheres. As he lands, gets hit by a bell. Chris, that's a repeat of Series 1.
Yeah, you certainly cannot afford to start like that if you are UHD here. Now, we see Heartbreak opting to stand still as now rolling. We'll see what happened there. It looks like we're going to keep playing. So we'll move on from that. Lucario taking 86%. Maybe looking to use that again to their advantage, as Lucario tries to do, but eating yet another forward smash. That one a sour spot, so Heartbreak will survive for now, but a Hydrant connects and now make it 125, 136%. Oh, and the bell connects on the up B. Kip in a flow state currently and looking to close this second stock out.
Yeah, Kip not wanting a repeat of last time, making sure that if he is going to close out these stocks, they are closing out as fast as possible. Lucario sitting at max Aura, will be able to hit with big Aura Spheres, but at the cost of being sent flying by most options as the Hydrant connects.
Yeah, what's the difference between set 1 and set 2? Kip has not let Heartbreak survive for very long at these high percentages. We saw the value come through from the massive Aura Spheres, from the other factors, the up B factor of this Lucario setting up into combos where they wouldn't otherwise, and now Kip has not let those come out, not letting this Lucario surpass the 100% mark, at least for very long. And now we're seeing the full effects of it. Heartbreak on their last stock, now up to 70%. Aura certainly making its way up, if not fully online by this point, down 2 stocks. But the Aura Sphere value just has not been there yet.
Yeah, I'm expecting about 90 or 100 at this point, Chris. That'll be the moment where you really need to look out for these Lucario options. I mean, frankly, they're already pretty strong, but Kip is already parrying up these and getting a ton of value as he goes low, has to use the trampoline to get back up high, as Lucario air dodges the wrong way, but won't go down just yet.
Yeah, that one surprises me, getting caught by the stun. Kip again in a flow state with these bells. Man, catching him all over the place in all stages of this Lucario's movement. Mid up B, mid jump, coming up from the ledge. It doesn't matter. Kip's going to land a bell on you.
I mean, that was calling him out in the right spots. That Lucario player caught with his recoveries up high too many times. And it feels very easy for Lucario to do just because of how far it goes. But if you're gonna be sacrificing that invincibility, I mean, that's a that's a tall ask. That's a very risky option. It's not always easy to use Lucario's up B to get back onto the stage. I've played the character a couple of times. I've done the thing where you up B and then you loop back down to the blast zone. Like, it happens. So Lucario playing a very safe game for the recovery side of things until you realize that he can't use the invincibility that he would want otherwise. Too many high recoveries means that those bells will connect in the right spot, and he's losing those stocks.
Yeah, Kip all over it. And in the salty run back, Kip comes out commandingly on top. Did not lose a single stock. And this is where we've seen teams fall apart against SU. If Kip is even able to make it to your second player, that's a problem. But let alone have 3 stocks to throw at it, that is threatening. So SU now in absolutely the driver's seat, if not more than that. I don't know what the step up over a driver's seat is, but in full control right now.
Yeah. And let's talk mental here for a second, Chris. In any esport, mental plays a huge aspect. And no matter on either side, whatever you will see, seeing that first stock get taken in the fashion it was, a bell combo hitting on an up B, same as the third, and Lucario willingly taking some percent. I understand if that's not, like, the SU team has suddenly more momentum in their sail that you could ever want, but on the other side, I imagine that it does not feel good.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was, and we haven't been told. The players clearly played it out, so I would hesitate to call that a technical issue. Otherwise, I assume we would have paused and resorted it however NECC would have resorted it. But that's not where we are. Where we are is UHD now down 3 stocks and Kip with full momentum, full control of the series in his hands, and not even at SU's hands, in Kip's hands, as he gets to go on one of his patented runs here that we have, again, become so accustomed to see out of this player, and we're somewhat surprised to not see the first time around.
As we do see a bit of a stage pick coming out from Kip in the back of house. Kip feeling good now that he has his patented run started. I can also see that Small Battlefield has been picked, and he's trying to pick his music of choice.
We do know that Kip can thrive when he gets his Battlefield and
Time to Make History.
Time to Make History, yeah, from Persona 4. So if you give this man an advantage, he will run away from it, or run away with it, excuse me. And he certainly has an advantage now, both in stage pick and music, as well as statistics. Stocks heavily favoring SU, and now if you're UHD, you have a big decision here to make. Do you try to send in one of these heavies to, again, avoid the threat that is looming, or do you stick to your guns and do what, again, sort of worked last time?
I feel like you can't. Send in either Bowser or K. Rool into Galaga Simulator. How do you land? How do you get back on the stage? How do you gain control? How do you approach past the hydrant as Bowser? I feel like it's not easy. So I feel like you gotta go with the Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, and we will see. It does look like UHD is sending in Gooeyest on the Pokemon Trainer again as we load into our next matchup. That is the answer from UHD. So, again, not changing it up, sticking to what they know, and I think that is totally fine. A big decision out of UHD here to commit to their strategy, what they have known so far to work, and what took SU, again, within 1 stock, on the last set, see if they're able to claw back and stay alive in this series.
Yeah, I like...
Well...
All right.
I mean...
yeah, Gooeyest. Okay. I already liked Gooeyest's playstyle from what we saw up against Igloo, where he was able to go from 0 to 100 real quick and make it work, but also the taunt after a very funny SD from both sides. I mean, I like this play.
Yeah, hard to complain about that one either way. I mean, a big decision out of Gooeyest to go for the trampoline. We see players do that. We have seen players do that against Kip, especially in recent memory. But Guius not able to make it back from that one, as now both players on their respective second stocks. Kip, so far, not taking much damage and finding plenty of his own.
As we do see Ivysaur trying to find an opportunity back onto the stage. The bell back into the hands of the pack means that Kip will try and find an opportunity to close it. Won't get that going as the up airs, Chris. There's that big hitbox I was talking about earlier. Clanking with the fire hydrant and being able to beat out the Pac-Man aerials. But even so, a very strong moment there from the Kip.
Yeah, the Pac-Man here finding their up smash, that scooping horizontal hitbox that seems to work. I will go as far as to say under 50% of the time, but does work out for him that time. And now Guius really on their heels. UHD, their season on their heels. Still 7 stocks left, but the situation just not getting any better as the deficit has now swelled to 4. And now PT Ivysaur up to 90%. And while able to launch the hydrant, it does connect onto Kip, but not enough to find the stock. So Kip still looking to maintain this momentum and try to wipe away this percent with a kill right here.
Yeah, sticking on that Ivysaur. I think that is the right move for as long as you can, but you just got to be careful because at points like this, one good hit may be enough for that bell to KO. But I like the Ivysaur trying to get rid of that hydrant there, sitting at about 130. There's the Charizard swap trying to get past the bell, but does air dodge onto the platform, which means that it'll be enough for Kip to walk away with 2 stocks remaining.
Yeah, look at those pearly whites. He is certainly starting to feel it now. He knows that he is on a run and is looking borderline untouchable for SU right now as they, again, continue to drive this set forward. Full control in favor of SU. Now UHD left with 2 options, and we assume to be 2 heavyweights again into Pac-Man, whereas you had the luxury of choice before and opted away from it, totally fine, but now forced into a matchup that no heavyweight is going to love.
Yeah, no heavyweight's going to love it, but I feel like the decision's going to be made pretty clearly when it comes to dealing with which heavyweight you send in against Pac-Man. Generally, I feel like K-Rool does better. I feel like Kip acknowledged that plenty of times with these sort of situations where like the armor just kind of gets in the way. We've seen K-Rool's armor bells like crazy. So that's the pick that I'm expecting, especially because then you have projectiles to deal with the hydrant. You could send in Bowser. Bowser, again, that kind of character that gets that guaranteed sort of just percent buildup. He just needs that last couple of hits. And that could be your way to get rid of this Pac-Man. There is still a Jigglypuff in the background. So for Kip, right now, he's looking for the run. He's trying to get as much as he can. But I won't lie, heavies can be scary.
Absolutely, yeah. We know that these characters can find their value. They are in the game. They serve a purpose, and that purpose can and does come out on top from time to time. And while this is the point in a crew battle where, we talk a lot between the sets, we talk a lot early in the crew battle about, thinking long term, thinking down the line. This is usually where I say it's time to abandon that. While yes, there's a Jigglypuff behind, in reserve, while yes, there's presumably a Kazuya in reserves. Right now, UHD has one problem, and it's the 2 stocks in front of them on this Pac-Man, because nothing else matters if you can't get through those. And right now, Kip is poised to not let go.
Yeah, there's a reason why we call it a patented run.
Yeah.
Is what you said, yeah. Because Kip has 12 stocked crews more than once this semester.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. That is a scare. There are 2 scary spheres on the Shenandoah roster. One's yellow, one's pink. And that yellow one, frankly, both of them have gotten 12 stocks. Now that I say that out loud.
It's true, yeah.
they're scary players.
They're good players. They're high-level players, and that's, again, we mentioned it earlier, speaks to the talent of getting to this point. Both of these teams have earned the right to compete today. The regular seasons, the playoffs have ended for NECC divisions and regions, but this is it. This is the big dance, and both of these teams have earned their right to be here, and it's off the backs of Kip 12 stocks, of a Far Rhombus 12 stock, of Igloo's fixing and consistency, and Willie's clutch and various runs under extreme duress. This SU squad is extremely talented and very battered. They have been through it. They are a veteran squad at this point. They've played together now for an extremely long time, and it's that formula that many teams can only dream of. That's the type of thing that a coach draws up when asked for the ideal team. It's a lot of that, and SU's got it.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about the level of competition here, Chris? The growing theme of the last couple of weeks is comfortability off stage. If you're going to deal with Pac-Man, you need to deal with the trampoline a lot. We've seen a lot of people deal with that trampoline. And have good fundamentals outside of the character. Have good fighting game fundamentals. And we've seen that from both sides, where adaptations were going left, right, and center. Bell combo connects in the right spot. But also, there was a moment there where from the Pokemon trainer going for the aggressive callouts in Series 1 to trying to deal with the trampoline like what we saw before. The Lucario player able to find Aura Sphere setups and take stocks early. Maybe not this time around, but even so, there was a lot of really good high-level moments that makes me hope that these people are competing at locals or something. These people are good.
Yeah, plenty of potential on the UHD side. Obviously, it's hard for us to dance the dance of hyping up our team and not putting down the other team. I certainly hope if any UHD players or fans are here that it's our job to put up SU. We are Shenandoah students at the end of the day, and we like to hype up our guys. But yeah, there's absolutely a lot of potential on the other side of the screen here. UHD has had flashes of greatness at times here tonight, but on the back foot undeniably now, as Raiden Knuckle is the response. A slight mix-up here from UHD as they have to put Bowser in over King K. Rool.
And while I'm a little surprised at the decision, it can make sense to just try and deal with the Pac-Man. That K. Rool definitely caught Igloo off guard in a couple of spots as well. So even so, if this Bowser player can get through this Pac-Man, it could do a lot for them in the series going forward, as a very nice parry will keep that percentage building and a side B to boot.
Yeah, the up smash connects on the hydrant, so it floats on the platform. Kip unable to go high there, and now struggling to make his way back onto the stage. Bowser doing a good job of occupying space all over the stage and placing the hydrant there on the platform, covering Kip's options, but Kip now well established onto the stage and controlling space of his own in ways that we are now so familiar to seeing this Pac-Man do.
Yeah, as we both see both players sitting in shield for a moment there, feeling the pressure. Raiden Knuckles trying to find this opportunity for another good hit. Goes for the forward smash onto the hydrant, but will be grabbed by Kip. He'll find an opportunity back on stage, but you do have to get past the bell setups as the orange is thrown. Kip going off stage instead of his usual charge on stage to secure the stock.
Yeah, Kip, again, continuing this run, establishing his presence as the opener for SU and proving why this team is seated as high as they are. 13 is nothing to scoff at, and while their last NECC season did not fall their way, they did still win the fall semester, and it was this exact roster that was able to do it. So, Kip now climbing up to 130%. Getting dangerously close to losing it as Bowser does a good job avoiding the bell and finding a forward air. Now Kip upwards of 150% forward tilt, won't catch the jump, and now Kip again reestablishes himself on stage.
Yeah, Bowser sitting at 61, doing a good job of not eating up too much percentage, but even so, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, just trying to dance around the Pac-Man game plan. If you can find those couple of good hits, that can be enough. But for now, Kip's kind of set up that sort of game plan as he goes for a very aggressive side B, assuming that bell will connect, and it will spell disaster as Ride and Knuckle will be able to connect the side special as Bowser connects the grab into the bell. A beautiful return to keep momentum in UHD's favor.
Yeah, nice little reversal out of Ride and Knuckle there. Certainly, I mean, making his presence felt here. We talk about the momentum, the sort of habits that Kip has built and this presence that he is now known for. But Ride and Knuckle certainly not letting it get to him too much and building his own presence on this stage, now up to 150% and clanking with a key to survive even longer. Bells come out, does get shielded, but the back air does not, and Bowser able to make it back from that one and contest the down air.
Yeah, that's a very strong down air. That would have been able to KO if it didn't get beaten out by that up B. Ride and Knuckle holding on for a little bit longer. 202% going off stage. Will be able to roll back onto the stage. Kip charges an apple. It is clanked out by the forward air as Z drops it back into Bowser, and the stock count is 1-1 between these two players.
Yeah, close game here. Bowser certainly proven us wrong so far in this matchup, strictly speaking. We know that Pac-Man likes the heavy matchups, but not when he's catching back airs like that. Ride and Knuckle holding their own against the Pac-Man, still splitting 2-2, but at least finally getting rid of this Pac-Man.
Yeah, I like my heavyweights, Chris. I'm glad that they're getting the performance that they need right now, because that is like, I was worried when Bowser goes in against Pac-Man because they could be Galaga combos for days and you're just eating a ton of percent. But Ride and Knuckle did a really good job of holding on for as long as possible and just sort of dancing around Kip's habits. It was a lot of Kip going for an option, assuming it's going to connect. Bowser's a big body. Of course this bell is going to hit in the right spot, but just dancing around those options. And because of that, suddenly Ride and Knuckle takes out the threat in front of them that they needed to get rid of.
Yeah, again, right before that series, I was just mentioning that this is the point in the crew battle setting where you have to kind of abandon long-term thought and just deal with what's in front of you. Well, Ride and Knuckle did exactly that, right? The task before anything else was get through Kip, and here we are. Now you have to deal with the problems that we were looking ahead at before. Whereas you saw what we just saw, that looked like Farumbus sitting down, which means it's presumably Jigglypuff time.
Yeah, so Jigglypuff going in, 2 heavyweights in front of Farumbus. 1 stock on the Bowser, 3 stocks on the K-Rool. It's possible to KO this Jigglypuff, but you gotta be deliberate. Jigglypuff will try to find opportunities to knock you off stage and escort like we saw with the King K-Rool. But at the other side of that coin, you're dealing with a character that is very, very light. Because of that, a good Bowser up smash, good Bowser back air, can probably knock out Farumbus at like 60. So it's going to be on Farumbus. While yes, you play aggressive, you play to the strengths of these aerials, these down airs, these pounds, just trying to keep the pressure on the heavyweight. You can't commit to too much, otherwise it might turn on its head.
Yeah, you're right. And this is also where you have to keep in mind the team stock count as well. SU is up, 5 stocks, right? 9-4 now. So not only do we expect Jigglypuff to keep the pressure on a Bowser like always, but Farumbus has stocks to give, right? You can put yourself in situations that you might not otherwise if it means trading stocks or going for a play that might not favor you, but you've got a shot at coming away with a stock. You might find yourself going for that, whereas you wouldn't before. And these are all things that I'm sure Ride and Knuckle is aware of, but is going to have to keep an eye out for as we load in once again to our next matchup for Farumbus, player number 2 for SU, but the leading stock taker from set number 1.
Oh, look at that parry into the nair, already building upwards of 33% as Jigglypuff is going for those down airs, and Bowser doing a good job using that up special, preventing Far Rhombus from going for anything too crazy. Again, it's a matter of committing to your options, but not going for too much more than what you are given.
Yeah, and the pounds are definitely coming out. This was where we saw the shield break, was this stage, this matchup, these players, and Far Rhombus certainly looking for it again. But Ride Knuckle has had the answers so far as they split percentages relatively even, but Far Rhombus, again, such a lightweight, like you said, could frankly die at this percent to most moves in Bowser's kit.
Yeah, Bowser throwing out those forward tilts, and if you're going to approach, you got to get past this, and that move can potentially KO. Getting past the Sing into the side B means that Ryan Knuckle will be able to secure one stock and try to continue the momentum.
Yeah, that side B lands a little farther away from the platform, a little closer to the blast zone than the last one, and about 15% higher than the last one. We saw the one from set one so close to taking a stock, but it wasn't enough. You add all of those factors in, and it absolutely will. Back air from there gets a kill spark, and it won't be enough. But that one is, wow, I didn't think either of those would be able to finish that stock, but Far Rhombus proving me wrong once again and taking care of Ride and Knuckle and forcing out desperation from UHD.
Yeah, 8 stocks on the side of Shenandoah in exchange for 3 on the table of UHD, all of them on the Crocodile. It is time, Chris. Crocodiles and Gators teaming up, setting aside their differences to potentially try and return the Crew Battle Series to their glory. But it's a tall ask. To get through the Jigglypuff, it's going to be a lot, again, of what we saw with that Bowser game plan of taking what you can, stuffing out approaches, right? Forward tilts were getting Far Rhombus wanting to go for potential down air setups. He wasn't spacing out the back airs to start off that series, but then once he found his opportunities, like realizing that Bowser was taking advantage of that, started spacing out the back airs, the forward airs, and it could be the answer that they need, is just stuffing out those approaches.
Yeah, this is where you also have to remember the mental games of this stage, right? We saw Far Rhombus found his success against this King K. Rool in particular, Chupasaur, by reading a counter and then forcing a bad counter to take 2 out of 3 stocks, right? This was Far Rhombus getting a download on his opponent before even really playing against them for more than a minute. And I guarantee Chupasaur has not forgotten that, right? That's something that will sit with you for a minute, but under these circumstances, you're going to have to shake that off, right? You got to come in with the cleanest mental you can have to go on an 8-stock run to keep your team's season alive. A lot of pressure on this player, and the last thing you need is to be getting red like that.
Yeah, but even so, there's a healthy amount of red that can be used in these sorts of situations. If you're playing heavyweights, one of the biggest things you need to play into is the fear factor. You can take stocks incredibly early. It's not a matter of you are going for it every single time, but if you can get your opponent to think that you are going for it, that can be enough. Playing to that mentality of just pure intimidation. If you see top level, like heavyweight players, that's what they play around. It's just a lot of, okay, maybe, yeah, I'm going for a forward smash early in this series. It might not connect, but it gets in my opponent's head a little bit. It kind of wears at their mental and can really cause problems.
It absolutely can cause problems. But when down 5 stocks, and with 8, needing to go on an 8-stock run as King K. Rool, right? It frankly does not get much more bleak than that, right? We've seen runs all year long. We've seen SU go on runs. We've seen teams go on runs against SU, but none of them tend to be on a heavyweight, right? It just doesn't happen. This team doesn't let it happen. We've seen it against, Bowser Juniors. That's probably about the heaviest that we've seen, because yeah, this team is so well equipped to deal with that type of play style that you have to think, yeah, your best shot is going to be to try to get in the heads of this SU squad. But you just have to think that, again, this team has so much experience under these circumstances in these types of situations that I regret to believe that they would fall for any major mental mistakes.
Yeah, and yet I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm certainly not ruling it out, but
yeah, I've been in the space long enough. I competed back in my freshman and sophomore year, and I know that you can, even in the bleakest of situations, you can definitely find little cracks, and you just got to make sure that you're going all in on them. Now, talking about the matchup in front of us, Jigglypuff versus King K. Rool. The nice thing is that Jigglypuff has those double jumps to try and deal with the King K. Rool horizontal projectile game, just dancing around those options and trying to hit that blind spot. However, K. Rool has a really good up tilt to kind of hit Far Rhombus in that spot. It's going to be a whiff punish game between both players. Kind of Far Rhombus sitting up there in that awkward spot, trying to bait out K. Rool's up tilt, and vice versa. Maybe K. Rool calls out Far Rhombus in the right spot, and then up goes for the up tilt, vice versa. It's going to be a back and forth, probably playing off of that interaction, if anything.
Well, we load into UHD's fourth player, down 1-0 in a best-of-3 series. And with a task as overwhelming as it can get, you can only take it one stock at a time. So what stock is in front of Chupasaur? You said it. It's a Jigglypuff. Have to deal with this Jigglypuff and not get too occupied with what's in front of you.
Yeah, but look at how Chupasaur is playing around Far Rhombus already. A lot of trade hits, and that's not necessarily a bad thing when you're playing that heavyweight. You can afford going for these trades if you can keep up the percentage. And while it's starting to fall away a little bit, it wouldn't shock me if one good hit might be enough for Chupasaur to close out the stock.
Yeah, wow, interesting super armor there on the side B to not get launched by that aerial. Another jab reset attempt from Far Rhombus goes a little wide, and Chupasaur, step one, now behind them. They do lose their first along the way. A successful back air from Far Rhombus will mean they trade 1 for 1, but Chupasaur, again, one stock at a time is all you can dream of, and so far, one stock has been taken.
Right, so you have to play around it. A good crown regrab means that K. Rool will be able to use it one more time as Far Rhombus finds the down air, string, getting things rolling, calls out the shield, is able to get the pound follow-up as K. Rool goes beneath the stage, is going to tech and eat a little percent, but keep themselves alive.
Yeah, Far Rhombus going off stage, finding the pound, but not able to string it into more. Another pound lands and able to get King K. Rool off stage. Running out of options, is forced to use the up B, does make it back to the ledge, so we breathe. Once again, air dodge toward the ledge does not connect, but again, using the up B makes it back to the ledge. As long as King K. Rool can hold on to these stocks, you cannot get occupied with his percentage too much. Does eat a back air there, won't go down. You'd like to see Chupasaur hold on to this one, but again, the task is just get through Jigglypuff.
Right, and on top of all of that, we see the belly armor coming in clutch in a couple of these interactions as K. Rool will eat another back air. KOing across the side of the stage will be enough to close out that stock. A dash attack trying to take the stock off of Far Rhombus as Far Rhombus goes a little low. K. Rool looking for the nair, but it won't connect as Far Rhombus is in a very dangerous spot as K. Rool looked for the down air as he parries the down air from Jigglypuff. I don't think that move was done, but K. Rool's up smash is fast, Chris.
Yeah, that was extremely fast. The parry window leading to a up smash coming out, that surprised me, but Far Rhombus still, again, both sides can't be too disappointed with that, right? Far Rhombus was tasked with just softening up these stocks however much possible, taking, a full 3 off Bowser?
Yeah, Far Rhombus took the 1 stock off of the Bowser. No, sorry, 2 stocks off of the. Now I'm mixing myself.
Yeah, now I'm. There's been pretty extensive breaks between each of these matchups, but ultimately, Far Rhombus able to knock out the Bowser and take 2 stocks off this King K. Rool. Absolutely job well done by Farambis, and as I'm sure he out in the arena would have loved to be the one to close it out, right? Is probably going to be kicking himself for losing that last stock, but ultimately, yeah, job well done for Farambis, and now he can only leave it up to the rest of his team to finish it off. Whereas on the other side, again, one stock at a time, all you can hope for. Your only shot of getting through 8 stocks straight is to see the next player, and Chupasaur did exactly that. So both teams walk away, take a breath, and we load into our next matchup here soon.
Yeah, in a perfect world, 3 players in front of you, you're hoping to lose just 1 stock at a time, but Chupasaur will end up losing the 2, meaning that now it needs to be a perfect run. 1 stock to 6, and playing against a potential either Yoshi or Samus, because we saw Samus earlier in this crew battle, and the last player in the back, your favorite Willy on Kazuya or Terry, presumably. Like, there's a lot in front of you. It's possible, but man, it's a tall hill to climb.
Yep. 1 stock at a time. Again, it's all you can think, all you can look at, all you can consume yourself with is what's in front of you.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the matchup that I think we are getting confirmation in the back of house of a Samus versus the K. Rool. So, for this side of things, it looks like a lot of this matchup is K. Rool throwing out his projectiles, covering up that horizontal. Samus covering the horizontal as well. By frame data alone, I believe that Samus's projectile game will eventually win out. Like, if they just sat there and kept throwing projectiles at each other, Samus's will eventually work its way in to K. Rool. So Samus will control the pace of the matchup at a point. Now, nice thing is, K. Rool's got that armor. If K. Rool can find opportunities to dance around the initial projectiles and then maybe go for the crown landing, that will be enough to then armor those couple of hits. And again, you're trading. Trading in this sort of situation doesn't feel good, but it might be your ticket to securing a couple of stocks, and then a matter of playing to that fear factor.
Yeah, it might just take some dire, drastic strategies to go on a run that we all think is that difficult, because it is, and traditional Smash Bros can only get you so far under these circumstances.
Yeah, and speaking of traditional Smash Bros, that should be the plan of Igloo, is you have stocks to play with. You shouldn't be going for anything too crazy. I wouldn't expect it. Just because you have that stock advantage. Play to the strength of the character, play to the fact that you control the tempo of the match, and the rest should follow suit. But as we hop into game, I'm curious to see, will Igloo stay to that game plan, or will he try to close this out quick?
Yeah, we can confirm it is the Samus pick from Igloo, so no Yoshi to be seen today, but I think it makes total sense, right? You said it. This game plan, this full matchup will be in the control of the Samus, right? It's a smart pick, and knowing the character that he has to go up against, as well as knowing that this K. Rool only has 1 stock, I think this Samus makes more than enough sense. And now, establishing the ledge trap, the down B's landing, the neutral air, wow, enough to finish it off. Igloo goes in, takes care of business, the team with smiles on their face as they will advance to round 3 of NECC Nationals.
Oh, I forgot about that, Chris. I talked a little bit about it in Series 1, but the moment K. Rool is off stage, those bombs are such a nuisance to get around. Take it from the guy who plays K. Rool here at Shenandoah. That thing is so annoying. But that is, again, just kind of playing to the game plan. That's what Igloo needed to do. You say it every time. Cold.
He's a fixer. He's cold. That's a bad man. He's cold-blooded. He can go in and take care of business whenever he needs to, however he needs to, and he gets it done there.
Yeah, so all a very strong performance from all of SU's players. We didn't get to see Willy, but sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing, you know, keeping the information hidden from the other people in the bracket of, hey, there is this scary demon man. That's how they keep referring to him on the desk, is scary demon man. He's got to be intimidating. Yes, he's very scary. No,
Yeah.
but seeing that Kip was able to adapt to the Lucario so well in Series 2, seeing Farrambus have an amazing run in Series 1, and then play to his game plan in Series 2, I mean, that's all that you can ask for. And then, of course, Igloo. Bad man.
Taking care of business, right? If there's one thing that you can bank on, it's this team having Igloo go for 3 or 4 stocks, and or just fulfilling his role however he needs to under the circumstances. And again, Igloo proves that to be true, taking the last stock. So, yeah, SU advances to round 3 of their NECC Nationals run. They continue to dance and now await the winner of Northwood and, hear me out on this one, CSUDH Amethyst Alpha.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I will not. But yeah, SU now awaits the winner of that series. So we will bring you that when we can. But congratulations to UHD as well on a very successful run to get them to this point. But SU continues dancing. And now we get to hear from one of the players themselves, one of the stars of our series. We have Ben standing out in the arena once again to see how the team is feeling about that win.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Chris. I am joined by Kip, our Pac-Man player that you saw here today for our Smash Bros. Victory. How are you feeling after a very convincing 2-0?
I felt pretty good. Not the team we were expecting to play. Impressed them to pull that upset versus SNHU, but it was still pretty fun nonetheless.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely an upset in round 1 there, but a commanding win here for you guys in round 2 to advance to round number 3 here for NECC Nationals. How does it feel to be advancing further in this national competition?
It feels nice. I mean, we do have to play another hard team. I do believe we play Northwood our next round, who is the 4th seed, and they have some really good players. They have some like really top level talent. They have the best Kirby in the world and J-Jaw. They also have one of the best K-Rool players in the world and Copel. Just have a really well-rounded team, and it's going to be really hard for us, but I think there's a chance for us to win it.
Oh, for sure. There's always a chance. I mean, we saw it in round 1 here. So talking a little bit about what this kind of matchup looks like, or what tonight's match looked like here for you guys. You played extremely well. I was 4 stocks in that first set and even more in that second set. How did you feel going into this team and about the team's performance here tonight?
Going into it, I didn't really know what to expect because we were all expecting to play the other team that this team had upset previously. So we were all pretty shocked to like find out we had to like do some like last minute strategy to kind of just figure out what kind of gameplay we want. But we did eventually find out their characters. Then we kind of just built our game plan from there, and it seemed to work pretty well.
No, I mean, it certainly worked very, very well. I want to talk a little bit about the team that we just went up against as well. Specifically, there was the Pokemon trainer on that squad that was doing fairly well throughout that entire series. What was it like going up against that player?
It felt like a refresher because Pokemon Trainer is it's a character you don't really get to see a lot anymore. I still think he's a very good character, as commanding 3 characters in one is just so strong because you get to counter pick mid-game essentially. But it basically just serves as like another like reminder to me, just like the general like knowledge versus like Charizard, because that is like by far the scariest Pokemon on that roster, as he wants to have that high percentage anyway to kind of rack up the rage, and Charizard is probably like the biggest abuser of rage in the entire game, which is how he was able to get some very early stocks versus us a couple of times, but still fun either way.
No, yeah, fun indeed. Well, hey, congratulations on the win, the clean 2-0. Good luck going forwards through Nationals, specifically up against Northwood coming up here for you guys. I'm going to toss it back over to the casters. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Ben. Congratulations to Kip on a massive win here tonight. Like we said, SU keeps dancing. And Nando, our competition coordinator, gets a smile on his face as his former school goes down and is knocked out by his current place of employment. But yeah, big stuff from this team as they continue to dance on to round 3 of NECC Nationals.
Oh, and they're teasing me, Chris. You're telling me there's a really good K-Rool player at this opposing team at this Northwood roster. I mean, I'm always fun to talk about more K-Rool. I mean, that's, hey, you've heard me even today. I'm happy to see that the character is getting some representation, but to see what it could look like in even more, like, as the series continue, as the brackets continue, I'm ready for Thursday, man.
Yeah, I absolutely am too, and we certainly hope you are as well from home. But that will do it for us here tonight. Once again, congratulations to UHD on a very successful season up to this point. Shenandoah has earned the right to compete on Thursday, and you won't want to miss it. So be sure to drop us a follow on whatever platform you are watching on right now so you don't miss out on our next Smash Bros. Matchup or whatever other esports action we have going on here in this arena. But with all that said, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might just change their life. We're all in this together, and we will see you next time.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the esports arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the esports arena is the esports war room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
Varsity Smash Bros. Team here at SU. First things first, how does it feel to be playing in NECC Nationals for the first time?
Oh, it feels great. Our team worked very hard in order to succeed here, and we're just really excited. I know that we've already had a lot of warm-up last week, getting into some things, but we're all just very excited to play.
To the casters, so we'll be right back. Let's go, David. Indeed, congratulations on making it this far. Good luck here tonight, guys. Back to you.
Is already starting to build as we see the blue on his fist glow hotter and hotter, but Kip is finding great hits
Around those options. Yeah, I would definitely say that aura is maxed out. You don't often see that spear get that big, but no matter what, seems to be struggling to take that stock again.
Yeah, and this is the awkward bit, Chris. I think that Pac-Man could go down around like 60% on a good hit. So for Kill, as that will be a big factor going forward. The aura will start maxing out here soon, and one more good aura spear might be enough as he holds it on the ledge, calls out. What keep an eye on that going forward, because that may be Kip's best opportunity to try and close out the stock. Is another setup like that, but he needs the bell first. Instead, baiting out the offer.
Remaining in reserves for this UHD roster, but we'll get there when we get there. Bell's coming out, a well-timed air dodge. Will survive high, but he will survive the throw and have another opportunity at the ledge.
Chris, if this player does not get this stock right here, okay.
Lead play is finally, we do see the swap to Ivysaur out of Gooeyest here. Again, with only 2 stocks to work with, looking to claw back against Igloo here.
Wow, a body like this, it's going to be difficult to get around these projectiles, especially in this horizontal game. So, Gooeyest taking a step back, trying to bait Igloo into the main stage. Wow. With grabs connecting, it's building a percent. These forward tilts while he's back and fighting KO, and Igloo may lose another stock here in a second.
Yeah, now Igloo, Magic Gooeyest will never change off Charizard here, try to survive for as long as possible to survive charge shots like that.
Flare Blitz doesn't have the double. Okay, I don't know if you saw that. That back there connected in the right spot, Chris, but Igloo still had invisibility left as K-Rool holds on to the blunderbuss a little long. This one. Wow.
Yeah.
Gabriel's hitbox looking a little funky there, but look at how he's struggling to get a game plan going as he's thrown into the third
display. Like we said, one stop separating these two teams, but now Fall Rhombus, the response for SU, and looking to go into Chupasaur all the way to the black. Catching the counter and responding by taking a full untouched stock. And now King K. Rool gets caught with their blunderbuss face. Our answer, Raiden Knuckle, excuse me. Oh no! Gets their shield broken to start. Can Fall Rhombus get a stock off this? For all of the flashy plays so far. There's a lot of shields still coming out here from Raiden Knuckle, as Fall Rhombus does still have that money.
But even so, a good call out on the double jump. Bowser has to go high. Raiden Knuckle looking for those last couple of hits. The forward air will connect. It will be enough.
Parries an up smash. The up B out of the shield will not find the stock just yet. So Fall Rhombus floats his way right back and finds a back air, and that will do it. SU takes set number one in what turned out to be pretty commanding fashion. Fall Rhombus showing off there.
The first stock is trying to get things out. And look at him playing that exact same way as the bell is online. Mario sitting back looking for the Aura Spheres. As he lands, gets hit by a bell. Closing out as best as possible. Mario sitting at max Aura will be able to hit with big Aura Spheres, but at the cost of being sent. But won't go down just yet.
Yeah, that one surprises me, getting caught by the stun. Kip again in a flow state with these bells. On the last set, see if they're able to claw back and stay alive in this series.
Yeah, I like.
Well,
get that going as the up airs, Chris. There's that big hitbox I was talking about earlier. Clanking with the fire hydrant and being able to beat out Pac-Man. But I like the Ivy still trying to get rid of that hydrant there. 130. There's the Charizard swap trying to get past the bell, but does air dodge on this for the forward smash onto the hydrant. Was still being grabbed by Kip. An opportunity back on stage, but you have to get past the bell setup as the orange is thrown. Kip can be enough for now. Kip's time to set up that sort of game plan that he goes for a very aggressive side B. Assuming that bell will connect and it will spell disaster. Holding on for a little bit longer. 202% going off stage. Will be able to roll back onto the stage. Kip charges an apple. It is clanked out by the forward air as Z drops it back.
Yeah, close game here, Bowser. Certainly proven us wrong so far in this matchup, strictly speaking. We know that Pac-Man likes that.
Throwing out those forward tilts, and if you're going to approach, you got to get past this, and that move can potentially KO. Getting past the Sing into the side B means that Raiden Knuckle will
so close to taking a stock, but it wasn't enough. Yeah, add all those factors in, and it absolutely will. Back air from there gets a kill spark, and it won't be enough, but that sort of close out the stock. Yeah, wow, interesting super armor there on the side B to not get launched by that aerial. Another jab reset attempt from Fall Rhombus goes a little wide, and Chupasaur, step one, now behind. Get through Jiggly.
Right, and on top of all of that, we see the helicopter coming in. Interactions as K-Rool will. This goes a little low. K-Rool looking for the nair, but it won't connect as Fall Rhombus is in a very dangerous spot as K-Rool looks for the down air as he parries the down.
This makes more than enough sense. And now establishing the ledge trap. The down B is landing. The neutral air, wow, enough to finish it off. Igloo goes in, takes care of business. The team with smiles on their face as they will advance to round 3 of NECC. And tonight, once again, congratulations to UHD on a very successful season up to this point. Shenandoah has earned the right to compete on Thursday, and you won't want to miss it. So be sure to drop us a follow on whatever